All right, so for each example here, we are going to be doing a lot of clicking and dragging and typing in our values. So this is just to kind of make sure you understand where things are actually being substituted and how they're being substituted. So for this first example, we're given the function mx equals 5x minus 2, and we have g of x equals x squared plus 3x. So we want to find m of g of x. So that's telling me that I'm going to take g of x and I'm going to substitute the whole g of x function into the mx function. So I have this mx function already typed out with a placeholder. Well, I have a placeholder because I took the x out of the mx function and I made a placeholder with a parentheses. So we're substituting the g of x function into that spot. So you're going to click and drag that function that you're substituting in there. Now, during this, we are going to have some more pieces where we actually talk about how to simplify this. But for right now, you're just going to be clicking and dragging, and then there's going to be a link over here. And that link over here is actually going to simplify and show you how to simplify that. So please make sure you look at those links when you're going through this activity. So for the next one, this one's different. The first one was m of g of x. Now we're finding g of m of x. So this is telling me that I'm going to take the mx function and I'm going to substitute the mx function to the g of x function. So we have the g of x function right here, but instead of the x's, so the x's for x squared and the x beside 3, we took out and we put placeholders there with parentheses. So we're going to substitute the whole mx function. So we're going to drag those over and we're going to put those in the designated spots. And at that point, you would simplify that function. And again, there's going to be a link right here that's going to show you how to do that. So just pay attention to those links and watch those in the following slide. All right, so those are actual plugging one function into the other. What happens when I have to plug a value into two functions with composition? So for this, I have fx equals 7x, and I have gx equals 2x divided by 4. So that says find f of g of negative 2. So we're not just going to plug in a whole function into another one. We're actually going to plug values, but we're going to do it multiple times. So we're going to substitute negative 2 into the g function. So you can see right here I have the g function, but where the x was, I put a placeholder. So I'm going to substitute negative 2 in that spot. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to simplify. So we have 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. Divided by 4, that gives me, at this point, you can type in negative 1. Now, that negative 1 value, we're going to substitute what we found for g of negative 2. And that should say negative 2 right there. That's my mistake. But we are going to substitute that into the f function. Well, why are we substituting f function? Because we found what g of 2 is. We found g of negative 2 is negative 1. So we're going to substitute that into the f function. So right here, we're now going to find f of negative 1. And that means we're going to now go to the f function. Well, the f function is 7 times x. So 7 times x, we have that placeholder. We're going to put in negative 1. And when we simplify that, that gives me negative 7. So f of g of negative 2 gives me the final value of negative 7. So we found g of negative 2 to be negative 1. Then we took negative 1 and substituted that into the f function. And we found that to be negative 7. So we substituted our values in twice. All right, so that value is going to be very different from g of f of negative 2 because it's a different process. This time we're going to plug in the negative 2 into the f function, and then we're going to get that and plug it into the g function. So we're going to substitute negative 2 into the f function. So my f function, if you remember, was 7 times x. So we took the x out and put in negative 2. And that's going to give me negative 14. Now, in that negative 14 value, we're going to take that and we're going to now substitute into the g function. And after we substitute that into the g function, that g function, if you remember, was 2x over 4. So we're going to substitute, we take that x out and put in negative 14. So 2 times negative 14 is going to give me negative 28. And negative 28 divided by 4 is negative 8. So my final answer, my final evaluation for g of f of negative 2 is negative 8. Now, if you have any questions about how to do this, I hope this video helps you. But it's just a check-in to make sure we understand the process behind what we're substituting and those decisions you make of what to substitute next. So just let us know and we'll be more than happy to help.